and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. My name is Colette and I'm here today to do a reading for the collective. This is my intuitive tarot reading for the full moon in Aries that has just taken place today in the UK at 22 hours and 5 minutes. So I've laid the cards out and I am ready to do the reading. I have done the astrology reading already. That is, as I speak, being uploaded, so hopefully it will get out before midnight tonight, but there are no promises and no guarantees for anything when it comes to uploading videos for YouTube. But before I forget, I am an intuitive tarot reader of over 30 years experience. And I would just like to say thank you very much to those of you who have been watching my videos and also subscribing to my channel, and also to those of you who have left comments as well. Thank you very much. And to those of you who share my videos as well, thank you. I really do appreciate it. So full moon in Aries, I am doing the Celtic cross for this reading. Not a full Celtic cross, but I'm going to start, as I always do at the full and new moons, with the energy of the full moon card of the Moonology cards here. We have surrender to the divine. The full moon energy, surrender, let it go, release it, and my mind's just gone completely blank. I was going to say something then and my mind just went blank. Release the energy in order for something new. The full moon energy is about our emotional fulfillment. It's a time when our emotions are mostly out there, as in it's where we get the word lunacy from. It's where everything tends to go a little bit crazy at the time of the full moon, and that's because the full moon is all about our emotional body. If you're interested in finding out more about the full moon itself in Aries, then like I said, my astrology will be up there, and there's also the blog that I'm doing as well, which you can also go and look at. I will also link down below. So Aries, full moon. A fiery climax approaches, and there is so much activity at this time in Aries. It is just packed full of energy. Not only do we have the full moon there, we have Chiron there, we have Mars there, we have Aries there, and we also have black moon Lilith there as well. Aries being the feminine sister energy to Mars, who is just as disruptive as her brother, or can be just as disruptive as her brother, and when the two of them are together, all hell can break loose. So a fiery climax approaching here is kind of saying to me that we are reaching some kind of crescendo of energy coming in at this time. It feels as though things are still building, things are still going to be released. Maybe after this full moon. And also we have be bold and make the first move, which is the cardinal energy, and Aries is a cardinal sign. Aries is about being dynamic, being an initiator of something, being courageous, and taking control. It is the self, it is the I, it is the I am, it is the new energy, the baby energy, it's the baby of the zodiac energy, even though it is the warrior energy as well. But when we first arrive on this planet, it is like a lot of the times, you know, it is kind of fighting for our lives to survive as well. So it kind of brings in that inner warrior need to Do we want to stay here, or do we not want to stay here on that level? That's how I kind of see that Aries energy. So the first card that we're starting with, as I do with all my full and new moons, is the Celestial Meditation deck here. And this is the Six-Armed Mahakala energy, which I do believe we had last time during the Pisces. Is it the Pisces new moon or the Leo? No, the Virgo new moon, I think it came out at. I'm trying to think, I'm sure it was the Virgo new moon, in fact, that this appeared previously. But it's kind of saying, you know, that we're still in that same energy. It is that Aries energy. But the thing about this card, the thing about Mahakala, is he is the fierce protector. He does look very fierce, he is very fierce, but it is for a reason, and it is as a protecting energy. So it says, splendid yet frightening, Mahakala, protector of spiritual development, stands in the midst of a mountain of flames. No enemy of the awakened mind, no neurosis or negativity can endure the presence of this wrathful deity. Each of his 6 arms represent the strengthening of one's generosity, morality, peace, vigour, meditation and insightful wisdom. The sharp chopper held aloft in one hand cuts through and beyond negative patterns of aggression, hatred and ignorance. Mahakala, devoid of fear or hesitation, watches to ensure that you are on the divine path. 6-armed Mahakala is always looking out for you. And the words that go with this are beyond negativity. I'm sure it was actually the Virgo new moon that it came out in, because I can remember thinking that it was very apt for the mental process and the physical process that goes along with the Virgo energy being ruled both by Chiron and by Mercury. And at this time we still have Chiron and Mercury playing very large parts in our lives. We have Chiron right next to this full moon at this time. It is conjuncting the full moon, and Mercury has just moved into Scorpio and is beginning to make an opposition with Uranus in Taurus as well. So that is also Mercury will be bringing up our fears as well over the next, in fact up until the end of December. Mercury's not going to be leaving Scorpio officially, although he's going to retrograde and he is going to go back into the sign of Libra before he moves forward to finish on the 1st of December when he moves into Sagittarius. So the first actual card that we're starting the reading off today for the collective here is the 8 of Air, or the 8 of Swords as it is normally known, and it's in reverse. So it is saying to me there is a feeling at this moment of generally being in a situation where we have trapped ourselves, where we are feeling as though there is no way out, no way down. If you see, she's actually up on this cloud. And the reason I say trapped ourselves is because she seems to be shredding or shedding these feathers, which I'm presuming they're coming out of her wings, in which case she's not going to be able to fly as well as she would. So therefore she's now trapped up there above everything else. Normally with the 8 of Air or the 8 of Swords, it depicts somebody who's surrounded by swords, but there is a gap behind them. But because they're so focused on what's in front and the fact that there's all these swords in front of them, often they're seen as being blindfolded as well, so they can't actually see. They just know that they can't move forward. It's like they're stuck, they've trapped themselves, and they've trapped themselves by their own kind of mind process, by keeping their own thoughts going over and over the same ideas, not being able to see beyond that, not being able to find the way out of a situation. And that's what this is kind of saying here with the 8 of Air. Now we've got 2 covering cards, 2 cards that came out for us as challenges. The first here is the Magician energy, which is all about manifestation and is very Gemini energy. And we are, well, this is our challenge at this time. It is to manifest something new. It is to bring in something different. And this could well be this energy here as well, of us feeling as though everything is falling away around us. And we are stuck up in this kind of tower energy here. Seeing everything crumble, everything kind of that we trusted in some ways is no longer working for us. And the Magician is kind of saying to me, we do need to bring in something new. If you look very carefully at his hands, he's actually holding this tiny little fairy. He's kind of manifesting the magic itself is manifesting there right in front of him. And he's very aware of it. And he's also looking to me as though he's looking at us as if to say, do you see what I see? Can you see beyond where you have come so far? Because that's another thing about the Magician, the manifesting energy. It's taking you to another level. It's taken us to a place of where we've not yet experienced. This is a new energy. But it is a challenge at this time. And it's come out with, as our challenge as well, the 9 of Earth, or the 9 of Pentacles. And this to me is all about our past and our history and kind of what we need to remove ourselves from, get ourselves out of that energy, that confusion, all of this it feels to me as though it's kind of like an energetic past energy that is still clinging to us via generational kind of beliefs. And the 9 of Pentacles is about our self-esteem and our self-worth. So it is saying to me that generationally we are kind of trying to pull ourselves out of that energy, trying to move ourselves away from our history as a collective of not being worthy, or of not being worthy, of not having the potential. Because that's what this Magician and the 9 of Earth is saying to me here, is that there is potential. We have plenty of potential here in order to manifest something completely different and something completely new that is going to level up our self-worth and our belief in ourselves and our possibility, our potential itself as well, is what I'm picking up here, is the potential, the actual manifestation potential. It's like this is what we're going to take with us into our future, is the realization that we are creating our, individually as well as collectively, our world. That but we create our environment around us by the state of our minds and what we believe we do and don't deserve. And that's why we're kind of feeling in this trapped energy at this time. We are trapped by our kind of conditioning, our own beliefs in things that don't allow us to push beyond that boundary of our limited mind. The knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding, that's what the Magician is saying to me here as well. The wisdom, the knowledge, the ancient, it's like ancient understanding. And that's interesting because we also have this king that's come out as well, and I always see this king as being very ancient. He has this real kind of, he's the king of earth, but he today has come out in a very similar energy for me as this Magician. Ancient wisdom, ancient knowledge, ancient understanding that we're going to, in some ways, we're going to lock into, lock onto, come to realize as our truth, our self-worth, our inner being. And the King of Earth, in his very earthy, ancient wisdom energy here, is what's in our head and what we are aware of. It's a very grounding energy, and it's come out with this card of love, or the lovers. But I see this more today collectively as divine love. This is what we're needing, this is what we're searching for. And this is what we need to ground into our lives. It's kind of saying to me, it needs to be grounded. This love needs to be grounded within us. It's like we need to know it on a really deep level. That we are worthy, that we are deserving. Interestingly here as well, I always find it that they're sleeping. You know, it's almost like love is lying asleep. It's peaceful, it's resting. It's very trusting. If you look at the lion and the girl together here, or the young woman lying there together, there's a trusting quality in this. But the King of Earth for me today is also saying something about our roots as well, going back to our roots, and our roots are of being love itself and manifesting that in our lives in a very, I just keep getting grounded, earthy, very kind of in our environment, in our earth itself, in the earth herself. Even though this has come out as the king being the doing energy, the active energy, the more dynamic, taking action energy. Which could be why we have the king rather than the queen up there as well. It's in our heads, it's what we're aware of. We need to do something. We need to bring this love in that has been missing from. It also feels as though it has got something to do with the earth itself. From the earth itself. Because the earth itself gives us everything we need as well. But it's talking to me more about this ancient wisdom, this ancient knowledge, this ancient understanding. And I have spoken about this previously as well, of kind of what it is that we're taking with us into our future. We can't ignore this, we can't just leave this or let it go or just forget about it. The ancient wisdom of the earth like the life force energy is kind of what I'm feeling for this here. The life force energy itself, what it is that makes things grow and nurtures and brings things to fruition. And it is this energy here as well. This energy of love that has been on a higher level missing, it feels like. And it feels like it's sleeping. That's how it's coming across at the moment. It feels like it's sleeping, like it's slumbering, like something within us is still asleep. But is yet to wake up to something. And maybe it is waking up to this energy. That we are yet to realise how valuable, how important this actually is to us in our lives. Nature. We are nature. There is no separation. It's not a separate thing. Nature is us and we are it. It's not like something outside of ourselves. This is something very much within our own being. So that's what's in our head and what we're kind of becoming aware of. With the messenger of fire energy moving away at this time, there has been a lot of fire energy. Messenger of fire, the Knight of Fire, Knight of Wands, Knight of Rods, however you prefer to call it. The messenger of fire can be very dynamic, very impulsive, very quite flippant at times as well in its energy. It can be it is the signs of all the fire signs, Aries especially, Sagittarius and Leo as well. And at this time we actually do have a fire trine going on, with the South Node in Sagittarius being there as well. We actually have this fire trine until Venus leaves and moves into Virgo, which she will be doing this week. And that's kind of what this energy is saying to me, that there has been an awful lot of this fire energy. The fire energy is kind of, it feeds itself. And that's what I'm feeling with this here, is it's just been this energy of feeding itself, of feeding off of itself. It's kind of like self-perpetuating craziness, really. And that's kind of why I'm being drawn to all these kind of candles around her head as well. This kind of illuminatory device that she's wearing on her head is kind of saying that, you know, it's all been lit up. It's like the fire has been completely consuming our mental processes as well at this time, because there has been so much fire energy. We've all been acting maybe a little bit impulsively, over zealously at times as well, maybe. But the messenger of fire wants to experience There's a need to experience with the messenger of fire. Experience, learn, grow. But it can also be about the self as well in many, many ways with the fire energy. Aries being the self, the I am energy. Leo also being the self and the ego energy. And Sagittarius being the kind of an energy of much more kind of devil may care energy. Like we'll do it now and we'll worry about it later, which is kind of where I think this has been going as well. Wanting to enjoy life, wanting to live life, wanting to have fun, wanting to experience, wanting to discover. Not wanting to be subdued, I feel, with that messenger of fire there today. It's coming across to me as quite fiery, and even her hair is kind of very lit up and very red and very, it's just an overall kind of fire feeling of things just being kind of out of hand, as though they've got out of hand in a way. But we do have this messenger of water moving in as this fire energy leaves us. And the messenger of fire here. Another messenger, another knight. But this is water. So this is to do with cups. This is again to do with romance or love. And this kind of seahorse here today for me is saying, you know, this is the waking up. It's like, wake up, wake up. There's something that you need to know. Wake up. Something needs to rise. Something needs to be seen, is what I'm feeling with this card today. Something needs to be seen. You need to wake up. You need to see this. You need to be aware of it. It is emotions, water, emotions. The knight can also be seen as somebody who's very romantic, in love with love for love's sake, which could also be this card here as well, like over romanticizing things. But I'm getting more of a feeling that this is to do with us awakening to something on a deeper level. And we do have Mercury just moving into Scorpio. And this is the card of the water energies, Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces. So this could well be the Scorpio energy that we are going to be dealing with, as this kind of Aries energy is, I wouldn't say fading into the background as such, but while Mars is in retrograde, it's not quite as full on as it has been. But the Mercury Scorpio retrograde energy is kind of going to become more of a focus of our attention at this time. And so it's kind of saying, go down into the depths of your feelings and your emotions, that place where things are buried and kept secret and hidden. Wake up. There's something within us that needs to wake up, that needs to be acknowledged, that needs to be accepted, needs to be seen. needs to be heard. Which is why I think like she's so very adorned as well. If you see her, the way that she's kind of almost decorated here with all this finery. So underneath all of this, in the subconscious realm, we find the 5 of air. And for me, the 5 of air is that balancing act that we have to do. Which is how we've probably been feeling for quite some time now. Trying to balance everything, trying to keep everything together, trying to kind of... Here she's holding this pose. It's like she's found some stability, even if it's very, very, very dodgy. Because if you see here, she's kind of poised on this very thin tightrope here. It's very thin wire. So her stability here, or her poise, or her kind of sense of what's the word I'm looking for? Her sense of there's a word and I can't think what it is. It's her sense of belief, maybe belief in herself, a sense of belief that things, that she's okay, that she's in that position, she's going to stay there. She's kind of kidding herself, she's fooling herself, is kind of how it's coming across for me today. 5 of air can have an element of feeling as though you are out of control, or that things are against you. Against all the odds is also what I'm getting here, that we're kind of battling against the odds, but we're still kind of trying to like keeping our balance, still staying up, still standing, still kind of poised, ready for flight even. That's interesting because that's just come through as well, like flight as in fear, as in able to move away from something or fly away from something, which with this card here in reverse we're not able to do. Which is the energy that we're in at this time, whereas this is in our subconscious realm. This is what we're not so aware of, is that collectively we're all in this kind of, feels like that adrenaline state of like, almost like a fear, almost like a sense of balance that's not going to be able to be held for very long, because where she's balancing on, what she's balancing on, it isn't a safe environment, it isn't a safe place for her to actually be. And that may be how we're feeling on a much deeper level. We're all feeling in this like unsafe energy. It's almost like that flight and fight energy is what's coming through for me here. And choice. So, moving into our hopes and fears, we have more air energy, more swords, which is saying that there's a lot of mental activity at this time as well, a lot of thinking things through, a lot of trying to make things make sense, make things fit in, which is how I see this Seven of Air energy as well. Our hopes and our fears. For me, this is the card of self-deceit. It is similar to the Five as well. This is often much more to do with self-sabotage in many ways, and this is more to do with self-deceit, of lying to ourselves, of trying to convince ourselves of something that's not true. You see that she's got these wings and she's got this kind of beak nose that she's attached to her face, because she's kind of trying to fit in with all the rest of these birds, these geese, etc., that are kind of flocking around her as if to say, you know, are you one of us or are you not one of us? And again, I get that feeling, that same feeling that I'm getting from this Five of Air as well, this kind of flight or fight scenario. Do we stand our ground, or do we try and retreat? Or try and fit in? Again, it all seems to be very much about trying to fit into something that isn't right for us or isn't who we are. There is an energy of dishonesty, an energy of pretense is what's coming through on both of these cards, in fact. Pretense, pretending. With this one, it's pretending that she's safe, pretending that she can hold this position and that she isn't in a precarious place, and that she knows where her next footing is going to be. And with this one, it is much more a sense of, like I was saying, of trying to fit in, a pretense of being something that we're not. So the last card that we have here is the Two of Fire. And this card for me is always this sense of, it feels like defeat today. It feels like a sense of defeat, a sense of like, oh well, I don't really know where I'm going, I don't really know what I'm doing. And it's kind of following for me on with this Eight of Air energy here as well, of coming out from this trapped place, because this is the first card, and kind of finding ourselves in this collective energy of knowing that we've got to move on to something, knowing that there needs to be some new idea, new way forward. And it could also have something to do with this magician energy as well, manifesting, but we're not quite sure what we're manifesting or how or why. But there is also this cloud of confusion around here as well, which I also feel with this 9, very similar kind of sense of confusion, of not being able to see clearly, of not actually taking any notice there either. She's kind of not even really that bothered. It just feels to me as though there's this kind of despair or desperation, or feeling like we're going towards the edge of the cliff, and that what are we going to do when we get to the edge of that cliff? Because we can't turn around and go back the way that we've just come, because then we're just going to be heading back into that same story, the same place that we've just come out of. So there is this sense of confusion of we don't really know where we're going, what we're heading into, what we're going to find when we get to wherever it is that we're going, and what's it all about anyway, is kind of what's coming out for me here. Is there purpose? Is there a reason? So let's kind of, or let's clarify. I'm not sure about this lighting again. It seems to be us better. Comes and goes. It's very annoying. Sorry about that. So we have two cards. We have the Death card. And we have the Knight of Cups again. Same energy. Knight of Cups, Messenger of Water. Same energy. So it does feel to me as though there is something, there is a transformation, there is a death occurring, there is definitely, we are going collectively through some major shift of energy at this time. And it has been ongoing since January. And for anybody who watches my videos, you will know that I am talking about the conjunction between Pluto, this card here, and Saturn, because this is death, this is Hades, this is Pluto, Lord of Death, Lord of the Underworld. But there is a sun rising in the background. But it's a very, very, very slow and long process that we are going through here. Pluto is an incredibly slow-moving energy in itself. It takes about 12 years to move through each sign, Pluto. And again, it's that love, it's that romanticism, it's that I feel as though it's that romantic view of things, because we've got it twice here with this love card as well. But this seems to be something that is sleeping. And of course it came out with this card as well, which is that ancient wisdom, that ancient knowledge. It feels as though that is what is sleeping at this time, that's what's needing to be awoken within us. That recognition. A recognition as well that we are all love. We all come from love. We all come from a higher vibration of love. Not just to do with like lust love. It's not just about that. This is talking about, to me, about a higher energy. But of course it's also come out with the 9 and the Magician. So there is this big transformation that is taking place. We are learning about our own maybe our own needs of love, how to love, because the Knight of Cups here with this fish, for me, always reminds me of being like a fish out of water when it comes to love. But there is a process that is happening here. There is something that is being transformed. The Knight of Cups is coming in, and he's here twice as well, so he's definitely quite important to us. And he wants us to know it feels like he wants us to know that whatever is changing is happening for a good reason. It is happening for our benefit. It is happening for our happiness, our it doesn't just feel like relationships, it feels deeper than that. It feels more like something that is self-love, maybe also. That it's okay to love. We've got two kings, and again we've got the King of Earth, but he has come out in reverse, and we've also got the King of Cups here as well. So the two Kings of Earth here, the King of Pentacles. This king is very much to do with money, finances. It's much more Capricorn energy. As you see, there is literally a goat in the background of this card here, and there's also goats on his throne. So he's very much of the Capricorn energy, although he can also be of the Taurus and Virgo energy as well, because they are both earth signs. But for me today, he's come out much more with a Capricorn energy. This could also be Capricorn energy, even though again it can relate to Taurus and it can relate to Virgo, but ultimately it feels more as though it's that energy of the earth grounding style of energy itself. But when the King of Pentacles is in reverse, it's saying to me here that we may well have kind of our values need to be reassessed, need to be re-looked at, need to be yeah, like we need to understand, because this is King Midas as well. There's another thing about this card, is this is actually King Midas, who everything he touched turned to gold, which ultimately wasn't very useful for him, because you can't eat gold, and if you keep touching people and they all turn to gold, then you're going to become very lonely. And that's kind of what this card is saying to me here, you know, that we've kind of tried to create our happiness from this place of having things, having lots of money, having lots of things in our lives, having lots of material possessions, really, because that's really what the King of Earth is about for me in this card. In this card he's not. In this card I feel much more that he's about the wisdom of the earth, and the fact that everything that we get comes from the earth. Everything that this king here craves, he can only have because of this earth energy. And the wisdom, there's a wisdom with this card. It just keeps coming through for me as a wisdom, an ancient knowledge that has been lost because this has become our focus of attention rather than this and this. That we've all kind of been searching in the wrong place here for our happiness and our love, our understanding. because we also have the King of Cups that's come out here as well, and he also has come out in reverse energy. So the King of Cups is the water energy. It's a lot of masculine energy going on there. A lot of king energy. King of Cups. Again, that water energy, the Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer energy. When he's up the wrong way, when he's upside down, the emotions are out of balance. This king is not coming from an emotionally balanced or yeah, what's the word I'm thinking of here? Not, it is balanced, but it's also there's more to it than that as well. It's like he's not trusting his intuition, he's not listening to his inner voice. The King of Cups of water is always very intuitive, he's very knowing on a deep inner level, instinctual. He trusts his inner voice, he trusts his instincts when he's up the right way. When he's not up the right way, he's completely, like I say, out of balance because of that. He doesn't trust himself. He doesn't trust others. He can become very self-centered. And this is what's in our head and what we're aware of. And it kind of fits for me with this very much, this love energy. As in it being something that we have confused, shall we say, over the centuries. Confused over the centuries as being it just kind of feels something that's been taken advantage of, or something that's not been given its proper place. It could also have something to do, because there is a lot of masculine energy there, it could also have something to do with the fact that the masculine energy itself has kind of been abused or misused, mistreated. Not been allowed to be authentic or be strong in a loving, kind, compassionate, caring way. And that has been seen as a weakness. Again, it doesn't have to be just masculine energy. This can also, it's just that energy itself kind of being seen as a weakness, not as strength. So let's see where the messenger of fire is here. Also, this could be the very kind of patriarchal side of things as well. And why we are where we are today is because it has been, on the whole, men who have pushed the world into being the way that it is now, possibly through this kind of energy, through this love of the physical, finances. It's a very masculine ruled domain, shall we say. Also, we could also be feeling as though whatever it was that we have built up for ourselves is all being taken away at this time as well, that we're losing everything that we had, and that it's not working for us anymore. Sorry about that. It's no longer working for us anymore. That the financial system is failing us. And that could also be leading to a feeling of a lot of dissatisfaction on an emotional level as well, of not getting our needs met. But we have the Fool in reverse, coming out with this messenger of fire energy. A lot of reverse cards coming out here. Since I started using the other deck, the Fool reminds me of this energy in a way, of being on the edge of that cliff and about to take that leap. And this is where it feels as though this is where collectively this energy has led us. It's led us to this edge, this cliff edge, this kind of overactive, over fiery, over exuberant, over everything today. For me, everything is over. It's like everything's over the top with this energy today, this fire energy here. There's nothing subdued about it. It's very full on. It's very in your face and very it feels like, you know, quite dangerous energy in a way. An energy that easily, and if you look around the world, it's an energy that has easily kind of got out of hand. But the Fool is a beginning, it's a new start, but it's in reverse. So it does feel to me as though it's kind of almost, we feel as though we're being pushed towards this cliff edge, but we don't want to go there. We don't want to take that leap of faith. We're not ready. We don't want to, or at least we don't want to be pushed into it, which is maybe how we're feeling at this time, that we're being pushed into a path that we are not ready to take or don't want to take, and we're not trusting. We're not trusting the story. We're not trusting the new journey. We're not trusting where we're being told to leap into. Of course, the Death card here as well could literally mean, you know, the death of a lot of people due to what has just taken place or is still taking place as well. Actual death, actual transformation here. Death also is the kind of last taboo subject as well. It's still the thing that we don't talk about, in the sense of it being not an ending, not a finality, even though it appears to be, or it seems to be. There could be more awareness growing around that as well. But there could also be people feeling as though they have kind of lost love in their lives as well. Literally is also what I am feeling here. People have seen too much. Of that happening around them, losing loved ones, or yeah, and feeling as though we're being, like I said, forced to this edge as well. And this is also with this Two of Fire, as I was saying earlier, kind of getting to the edge of this cliff, and we can't go backwards. And that is very much this energy here as well, this Pluto energy, which is still ongoing at this time. We still have Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto is just about to station direct on the 4th of October. And it's the last planet out of the 3 in Capricorn, Jupiter and Saturn having already turned direct. So Pluto will be following very soon. And when Pluto turns direct, the energy will be shifting us forward. But it is, again, it's that kind of like, where is it taking us? Where are we going? Where are we heading? What's over the edge of that cliff? Maybe we're also feeling a bit like lemmings as well, like we're all following each other. This is that group think energy in a way. Of wanting to fit in, of not wanting to stand out, for fear of standing out, fear of being different, fear of being pointed at. Made to feel as though you don't belong. So let's see why the Messenger of Water energy is here today for the collective reading in Aries, please. Of course, the Death card could also be relating again to the Mercury energy, Pluto, Scorpio, Mercury in Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Knight of Cups being the water energy could also be relating to Scorpio itself. Digging up things from our past. Talking of digging up things from our past, the Judgment card over the top of the Messenger of Cups. And the Judgment card is about going down to the very depths, even if we don't want to, because it's in reverse. There is something that is calling us to do so, and that is going to be this Mercury in Scorpio energy that is going to become a lot stronger, especially seen as it's in opposition to Uranus, and it's going to make 3 connections with Uranus between now and 13th of November, I think it is, or no, maybe even the 17th, 18th of November is the last one. But it is going to be dragging up these ghosts. It is going to be making us look at our past again, our deeply buried secrets or emotional traumas, things that we haven't wanted to look at, things that we're not prepared to recognize on a collective level and an individual level. On a collective level, it could also be about our historical past, generational past. Having to forgive, needing to forgive. But because it's in reverse, it could also be feeling as though we're being forced into that situation again, that it's not our choice, it's not something that we're choosing to do. Same as this card here, we're not choosing, it feels as though we're being forced into a situation there. And this feels pretty much the same. This again actually is Mercury. This is Mercury. And he is going down into the underworld as well. So this is Mercury going down into the underworld of the Plutonian inner sanctum, shall we say, to bring the dead back. But symbolically, it is talking about releasing our past, releasing our ghosts in order to be able to make a fresh start or a move forward, in order to no longer be tied to our past, to be controlled by our past. But like I was saying, with this Mercury in Scorpio energy, we could feel as though we're being, it could feel reluctant. It could feel as though we don't want to go there. We don't want to look at it. We don't really want to acknowledge it. We don't want to accept it. It could bring up feelings like I was saying of deceit or guilt as well. There could be feelings of guilt here. It could also be this 5 of air energy as well, can relate to guilt. It could be why we don't want to acknowledge these things personally, individually, collectively, generationally. Things that we've carried from our ancestors that all need to be let go of, all need to be released, all need to be forgiven. Because we have the 2 of Pentacles here as well, which is in reverse. And so the 2 of Pentacles is saying that in order to be able to start something new, in order to be able to have this fresh start here, with this 2 of Pentacles, which is also this 2 here as well. They kind of go hand in hand. New beginnings, something fresh, something to focus our attention on, build something for ourselves, create something that's going to be long lasting and productive. But in order to be able to do that, we need first of all to let go of what we had, and also to be maybe prepared or aware that we're not going to be able to go back and do things in the same way that we have been able to do them previously. That things are changing and shifting and moving forward in a different way. Because we also have the 6 of Wands here in reverse as well. So this is saying that there is a feeling of, or something that should have been a victory, something that where we should have been feeling victorious. We are not in that headspace. We're not feeling it. We're just not feeling it. We're not feeling on top of anything or everything at all. When it's up the right way, the 6 is saying that there's a celebration. We need to kind of realise how far we've come up the mountain, so to speak. Look back down, see how far you've already got. It isn't a final completion, but it is a sense of achievement. But when it's upside down, it is saying that we're not feeling as though we've achieved anything. We're not feeling as though we've got anywhere. We're not feeling as though we've made any headway at this time. And again, it is over this messenger of air, Mercury. It just feels like Mercury, Scorpio energy. So, underneath all of this, with this 5 of air, this precarious situation that we're kind of convincing ourselves we're okay, we've got it, we're balanced, we can stay here. Just walking a fine line. But it is also, like I was saying, it is also, or can also be, self-sabotage energy as well. And if you think about it, she's kind of put herself out there on that line. She's kind of put herself into this dangerous and precarious position. And it's like, how is she going to get down from there? How is she going to... What's her next move? So why is the 5 of air here for us at this time, please? What is it saying? What does it want us to understand here? I'm also seeing down the edges of this card as well what looks to me like cobwebs. There's a kind of, yeah, just there. You can't see it very well. It's not really showing up clearly. But it feels like cobwebs. It feels as though something is kind of, as though it's been a long time kind of in that place, holding that position, kind of. And cobwebs, of course, relate to old energy, energy that's kind of been around for a while. I've not really ever taken much notice of that before, but it kind of sprung out at me. So we have the 3 of Wands, which is about a risk, which is exactly what this energy here is. It is a risk. It is putting ourselves out there on that higher wire. And trying to convince ourselves that we're safe, trying to convince ourselves that it's okay. And this 3 of Wands here He's being offered the crown here, which is kind of an interesting connotation when you think about the Rona, shall we say, as it's called in certain circles, and that it actually is the crown. That's kind of what it means. Corona means crown. So he's being offered the crown here because the kingdom actually is his. It does belong to him, but he doesn't know that. And in accepting it, he's opening himself up to a lot of risks. A lot of kind of twists and turns in life that he has no idea where they're going to take him. And it's kind of similar to this Five of Air energy as well, because what she's doing, she's also opening herself up to a lot of risks. She's also kind of putting herself out there, not really knowing, like I was saying earlier, her next step. And that's the same energy here in many ways. He doesn't know what his next step is. If he accepts that crown, he doesn't really know where it's going to take him. How will his life change? And in fact, his life does change enormously. Because this is the story of Jason and the Argonauts. So when he accepted the crown, he also accepted a very risky adventure. But actually involved, strangely enough, this card here, the Page of Wands energy. We have the Knights over here, but this is the Page in reverse. And the journey that he has to go on, the risk that he has to take, is all about this fleece here, which also turns up in this 6 card of Wands here as well. So this fleece is kind of what started all of this journey for him. And as I was saying, this energy here is about taking a risk, and this energy here is also about destiny, destination. Where are we going? How are we going to get there? It's having left one destination or one destination and moving forward into another. But again, because it's reversed, there is this feeling of it not actually like we haven't actually kind of started out. It feels as though it's kind of blocked, or there's something not moving forward, something's kind of keeping us in the same energy, in the same place. Pages are all new energies. They're well, I say new, they're more young energies. They're an energy of learning about themselves through experience. Fire energy. Again, Aries, Leo and Sagittarius. I see this mostly as Aries energy at this moment in time. So it's that impulsive but curious, impulsive but at the same time like adventurous. It's that side of us that wants to take a risk, but at the same time also knows that when we do take a risk there will be consequences. But we can't kind of think about that. We can't think about the consequences, or we can't worry about the consequences, because if we do, we're just going to end up stuck. We're not going to move forward. We're not going to get any further than where we are. We won't be able to take the risk. We won't be able to, because like I said, Jason actually needs to go and win, shall we say, win this golden fleece in order to be able to come back and claim his country, claim his land, claim his kingdom. So the Page of Wands can also be an energy of where other people can kind of put out that spark, that fire, that little flame that starts up but doesn't go anywhere due to other people's putting it down, putting it out, telling you you're stupid, it's not possible. It's the creative ideas that kind of burn out because they're never allowed to actually become anything. And we could also be feeling like that at this time as well, that we've taken so many risks and it hasn't actually led us anywhere. It hasn't led us anywhere that's, again, that has this safety about it. It just feels like there's an unsafe element here. And over the top of the Seven of Air, in our hopes and our fears, we have the Nine of Swords. So it does feel at this time that we don't see any light at the end of this tunnel. That all we're kind of seeing and focusing our attention on is all of the problems, all of the worries, all of the fears, and being fed a lot of fear as well. And again, like I was saying, being made to feel as though you have to fit in to that narrative, to that mindset, to that way of thinking, to that kind of you know, birds of a feather flock together is kind of what's coming into my head. And that if you don't flock with the rest, then you're going to be made to feel like an outcast. You're going to be made to feel as though you're in the wrong, as though you're crazy, as though you're completely insane. So it is this kind of holding back energy as well. And that could also be what this is here as well, as feeling like you have to hold back on how you're actually seeing things or feeling about things or experiencing things for yourself. But we do have, as the final outcome, which is particularly nice, the Sun, which is saying that there is I want to say a happy ending is really what I want to say. There is a happy ending, there is clarity, there is insight, there is a sense of destiny, a sense of purpose, a sense of things kind of opening up for us. The archway for me always kind of represents this sense of leaving one area or one energy and moving into another, moving through the portal, through the doorway into a new dimension. And by that I don't literally mean a new dimension, even though I do think that when the Jupiter Saturn conjunction happens in Aquarius, we're going to feel a very, very different energy to what we've been feeling and living in as well. Because we've been living through this very kind of solid, it could also be what this energy here is as well, this very solid 3D, very dense, very physical, very controlled era. The whole era, the whole of the Piscean era has literally kind of been like that in many, many ways. But the sun energy is kind of saying that there is this new outlook. There is a new and a better way to view things and see things, and that's where we're heading. That's where we're heading on this 2 of fire giraffe here. We are heading out of the confusion and the unknown into this time where things are much clearer, there's more clarity, things are illuminated, things make sense, things are promising, potential, happiness. But we still got a way to go yet before we actually get to that place, because we're still in October. So even though October is like 10 months of the year, I suppose really we have only got about 12 weeks. 12 weeks, 4, 8, about 10 weeks really, maybe 11, until we reach that point with Saturn and Jupiter. And that's what I feel that sun energy is. I feel as though it is that kind of awakening point, like a whole, it feels like a whole new, a newness, a freshness, kind of lifting out of all the denseness and the heaviness and the clearing out of things and the kind of mental stress and the, but we do have other things that we've got to go through first in order to be able to get to this point. And it is kind of a clearing process, a purging, a clearing, ending things in order to move forward without all that baggage, especially the emotional baggage that we are kind of collectively dragging along with us on an emotional level, again generationally, and also to do with, you know, our guilts and our past, you know, our self-deception as well, the things that we lie to ourselves about or we hide from ourselves. Interestingly, we have this card that has come out again, and I'm sure this came out recently, but it is the Blessings from Your Soul card. And she's deep in slumber there as well. So it says, you are a radiant being with many unique talents. Look with eyes of love and you will see this. Feel the creative power within you and the blessings pouring in as the healing light of your soul flows into every part of you. And that's kind of what I was feeling with this love card here. It did not feel like it was to do with physical love. It felt as though it was a love that was of a higher octave, a higher energy source. And that's also what this, I feel, is about as well in many ways. Waking up maybe to our inner divinity here. So I'm going to pull a Angel Guide Oracle card to finish the reading, to see what it is that we are needing to know from the angels. A card please for the full moon in Aries for this collective read. Collective read, full moon in Aries reading. Angel Oracle card, please. And we have Mother, Father, God, which is an interesting card. It's come out upside down, so it is also talking about it being an important message. When the messages are in reverse, it does talk about them being more important and needing to have more notice taken of them. And it is interesting because we don't have any queens or female energy in this reading, which was something I kind of noticed earlier. Apart from the two messenger cards, which are the Knight energy, but we don't have any Queen energy. So let's see, there we go, Mother, Father, God. Your message: you are connected to the power of creation at this time. Your spiritual parent is enveloping you in their incredible love and filling you with divine energy. Again, that's what I feel that this card is about here. An inspiration to help you move forward. This card is a message directly from the heart of God. It is telling you that you are significant and precious. It could also be seen as the sun energy as well, literally. You are loved beyond measure, and the Creator Power is proud of you. You are being encouraged to have faith and know that anything is possible for you, no matter what you may be going through. You are always connected to the source of creation. Your angel guide is encouraging you to remember this now. And I do think that this is what we are kind of being taught here with this love energy. Seems to be very glary, that card. Oh, there we go, that's slightly better. It was, and now it isn't. So the extended message says this card is one, oh, sorry about this, it's really annoying. This card is one of healing and wholeness. Whatever stories you may have heard about God being judgmental must be washed away. Interesting. The Judgment card has also come out here. Things that we need to release and let go of. Also the Scorpio energy, Mercury in Scorpio, washing things away maybe. Divine energy could never hold a grudge against you, for you are an extension of its love. The power and presence of the Creator are not only with you, but within you. If you have ever felt that you aren't good enough, And there we're going right back to the early card here with this 9, as I was talking about earlier. Self-worth, not being good enough. On a collective level as well, it feels like this is a collective kind of story of the human race. Feeling as though we are kind of, it's actually coming over today. Now I think about it, it's actually coming over as like all of this stuff around us is what's going on around us outside, this virus. All of this is that kind of fear and all this negativity. And kind of trying to not be connected to it, not see it as a part of us, of who we are. Because there is a kind of sense of it being, like I was saying, attached, like this energetic, this energy that's attached itself to us. Anyway, I will get back to reading my card, my book, sorry. This card. So if you have ever felt that you aren't good enough, or that you are being judged, or that you haven't been the best you can be, know that you are forgiven. Again, I was talking about forgiveness here with this card. Angels are with you today to help create a healing wave between you and your divine parent. This card also brings the possibility of parental healing. If you would like to clear up difficult energies between you and your parents or ancestry, know that angels are ready to help. Ancestry also generational as well, so that's interesting. Again, to do with the generational energies that I feel are what we're dealing with at this time collectively. They are guiding you to see the world through the eyes of Mother, Father, God, and to remember that love can heal everything. So, that seems to be the message overall, is that love can heal. Needs to be awoken. That's what needs to be awoken. That's what I was trying to kind of, so I was saying about this awakening, that we need to awaken something within us, and this love, this is what it's all about. The connection. Mother, Father, connected to everything, energy of who we actually are. So I'm going to leave the reading there. Wow, I didn't realise it was quite that long. And say thank you very much to anybody who has come over to watch my reading. I really do appreciate it. Please could you thumbs it up for me in order to get it out to a bigger, wider audience. Thank you very much for subscribing to my channel, for those of you who have subscribed recently, and for those of you who have subscribed and been with me for a long time or for a while now. I really do appreciate it. Please, if you haven't subscribed and you'd like to find out more about my channel, there is a subscription button on my videos that you can tap, and it will open up the little bell, I believe, where you can tap that and get my future videos as and when I put them out there. I do all the full moon, new moon, both astrology and tarot readings for both, and also all the zodiac signs as well. Also comment if you feel like leaving me a comment. That would be wonderful. It's really nice to get some feedback as well, and share my videos if you feel that they are of interest, or that anybody you know might find something within them to help them at this time. Please do share them. And also there will be an astrology link in the description box down below as well, and I will also add my blog, my astrology reading, which I do as a actual video, but I also do it as a kind of transcript blog as well. For anybody who's interested, it will be in the comments down below as well. So please take really good care of yourselves at this time, and also take very good care of anybody else around you who you can, and hopefully I will see you all again sometime soon.